One of you asked me if I could talk about lucid dreaming, and I love the subject, so I'd be happy to do it. Thank you for the suggestion. Loosely put, lucid dreaming is being aware while you dream, but there's more to it. You can be aware when you sleep, so I want to talk about both. Like it's technically possible to be aware the entire night. First of all, I'm not an expert at lucid dreaming, just to put it out there. I will tell you what I know, and you pick it up from there. I'm going to cover lucid dreaming as a spiritual practice, as a tool for spiritual growth. And the benefit, I think, is to study reality. Because if you manage to be aware when you fall asleep, and then you get a chance to see how the dream is created. And that's exactly how reality is created, similar way. Like the mind is creating an experience. So to me, that's the most important part of studying studying dreams and sleep in general. So that's the benefit of lucid dreaming. I'm going to share with you three methods, or I'm going to talk about three methods. The first one is for anyone, for beginners. That's the one you'll mostly be interested in. The second one is more advanced. But the first one probably won't allow you to be aware during sleep, just dreams, which is good enough. The second method will allow you to be lucid or aware during the entire night, but it's more difficult. It requires access to the jhana. I made a video on the jhana on the channel, so you can check that and practice that if you're interested. The third method, I will not develop it, I will just mention it because I don't necessarily use it, but it's a way for you to explore further. So the first method, first of all, it's important to understand that the night is how the night is organized. Like what happens in your experience during the night. The night is cut in two. There's a part of the night where you take your rest, and during that part you will go into a succession of dream, deep sleep, dream, deep sleep, dream, deep sleep. During deep sleep is when you get your rest. After that, when you get all the rest you need, you enter the second phase of the night where you mostly sleep. You mostly dream. Sorry. You might have phases of sleep in between dreams, but there are very light sleep. No real rest. It's like a nap. If you want to be aware during the sleep or during the night, during the dream, the best time is obviously the second part, because the first part your awareness is going to have to overcome the need for a deep sleep, need for rest. But it's totally possible to be aware during this deep sleep, but it takes more practice. So what I would recommend if you struggle at first is to set up your alarm clock around 4 a.m. or something, and you wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe you go take a leak so you're not distracted by that later during the night. Then you come back to bed and you practice. If you don't like waking up in the middle of the night, you can try at the beginning, but it's going to be harder because of the deep sleep, the need for deep sleep. So the first technique is, the idea behind it is to try and get a base level of awareness by aiming not at being aware, but aiming at remembering your dreams. You can only remember your dream if you're aware, slightly aware during the dream, aware enough to store it in your memory. So the idea is to use that level, gain that level of awareness, which is easier than total awareness, and to use that as a springboard to then access actual awareness during the dream. So the first thing you should do is to be aware during your day. because most people aren't. Let's face it. We are thinking about stuff that we are going to do, stuff that we did in the past, what I want, what I don't want, what I like, what I don't like. We argue with people in our head. We waste our time on things that don't matter instead of being present in the moment. If you're not aware during the day, don't expect to be aware in the middle of the night when you need sleep or when you're dreaming. So the way to be aware during the day, I made a video with beginner exercises for beginner meditation exercises. It's on the channel, you can check that. In there's an exercise I called mindful dinner or something like that, where you pay attention to your sensations. And basically that's the only thing you need to be aware, is looking at your sensations as they are instead of inventing a story around them. If you practice that and you're well aware during the day, then you have a solid ground on which to build the practice of lucid dreaming. Then, since it's all about memory, the first phase, before sleep, you take some time to engage the memory by remembering your day. Like when you go to bed, you take some time to think about what you did before. Like before going to bed, you undressed. Then before that, what did you do? You climbed up the stairs. Before that, what did you do? I took a shower, and so on and so forth. And you remember your entire day like this. And when you can't remember a point, you don't force yourself to remember. The point of the exercise is not to remember stuff, it's to engage memory. So if you notice that there is a point where there's a blank in your memory, you don't remember what you did at that point in the day, you go back to the beginning. I'm in my bed. What did I do before this? I undressed. Then before I climbed the stairs, and so on. The point is just to engage the memory before you sleep, so that when you fall asleep, the memory is like it's something that you just did, and you're still in the rhythm of remembering stuff. So when you dream, it's easier to record it. Then you wait for sleep, and when you feel this, I hope that you have the sensation right before you sleep. If you don't, you need to try to be more aware right before sleeping by looking at your sensations, just like I talked about being aware during the day. But try to spot that moment where you know this is it, I'm going to sleep now. When you feel it, you make the intent, the clear intent, to remember your dreams. You say to yourself in your mind, I want to remember my dreams. And then you fall asleep. In the morning, you take some time to try and remember your dreams, to get into the habit of remembering when you wake up. It's again engaging the memory right when you need it. It might help to have a diary where you write down what you remember. At first you might not remember anything, and it might take a while before you remember anything. Weeks, months, doesn't matter. It's not an intense practice. You're going to sleep and think about stuff before sleeping. It's not too complicated. So you keep doing this until you get some success. And the goal is not to remember all of your dreams. I don't remember all of my dreams. The goal is to remember 2-3 dreams every night. That's great. And if some nights you don't, it's fine. Once you've reached that point, now you have your springboard. Now you can try and remember, go beyond remembering your dream and be more aware than that. And all you have to do is keep doing the same practice, except the intent should be something like, I want to remember my dreams, and when I dream, I know that I dream. Something like that. Make the intent to be aware when you dream. And again, with practice and with time, you will go from the base awareness of remembering a dream to being fully aware. And later you will be able to modify the dream. That takes practice. I'm still struggling with that. But you will be able to say, all right, now I want to dream of this thing. It's like in the movie The Matrix, where they invent a dojo, same thing. It looks literally like that. Like you are in a blank space, and then all of a sudden you decide that there's a tree. Boom, the tree appears. You decide that there's a bench next to it. There's a bench, and so on. So you can use that later to do specific practice, spiritual practice inside the dream, stuff that you couldn't do in real life. Like you could practice your death to prepare for death. It's an actual practice, and it's interesting. Like you could imagine a way to die. It's not for everyone, of course, it's scary, but it's a dream. You want to do it in a dream, not in real life, right? So that's the first practice. I think I covered it all. It's accessible to anyone, so most of you will probably use this one. The second one will give you the opportunity to observe. The second one uses the jhana. The jhana is a state of consciousness where it's a very simplified state of consciousness where there's almost nothing. Just consciousness, just being there, that's it. It takes some time to get there. But those of you who already have access to it, you can use it. You can use it to do a lot of things. I'm not going to cover all of it, but just lucid dreaming or being lucid during the night. The Hindu call it sushupti or something like that. If you want to look up that name, I think it's sushupti. It's being aware during the night. If you practice the same practices before with memory and everything, but before falling asleep or before sleeping, you take some time to enter the jhana and you stay there like an hour or something, 2 hours if you can. And then when you come out, you make the intent. The concentration that you will have built up to get into the jhana will strengthen the intent. So when you say, I remember my dreams, if you say that right now, if I say that right now, it has a weak intent, a weak strength. But if I say that after having focused for 2 hours on the jhana, in the jhana, the intent is magnified by 1,000,000. It's amazing. That's why I said you can do many things with the jhana. Anything that you can do with intent is magnified by the jhana, so it's incredible. It's magic, really. Literally. So if you get into the jhana, then you make the same intent, then you will be able to fall asleep while being aware. Like you will see, when you notice the moment where you know, okay, this is it, now I'm going to fall asleep. You will remain aware at that moment, and you will see sleep happen. And it's quite something. It's incredible. I couldn't describe it because you need to see it to understand what it is. And when you see the dreams, it's really something. You need to try it. It's incredible. Like, to me, the first thing that happens when I actually fall asleep is I feel like sparkling water in the mind, or fireflies in the head or something. It's like going like this in the brain, and then it spreads through the entire body. And I imagine that's the body falling asleep. And then what often happens is I lose my sense of space, gravity, what's up, what's down, where I am, and I start floating. And the sensation is the real sensation. It's not a vague impression of floating. It feels like I'm in space floating around. I feel the body going like this, slowly twisting and moving in space, as if I was in outer space. And sometimes I feel like I'm falling, and I feel the fall with my entire body as if it was a fall. So it's training in letting go. It's another practice of meditation, letting go, because I feel like I'm falling, and I am falling in that moment. Even though the body is in the bed and I don't have any reason to worry, but the sensation is there. It's like when you are in your car and you go down a slope and you feel the sensation of its gravity. I feel that same sensation in my dream. Well, it's not a dream yet. I'm still falling asleep at that point. I can also feel like I'm rushing through space, like I'm in the universe. I don't see anything. It's blank at that point. It's not a dream yet. It's just a basic experience a basic spatial experience. Anyways, after that, I see the dream starting, and that's another experience, man. You see how images happens. Everything, when you're aware, your dream happens in slow motion. You don't notice when you're living it. Everything seems like you don't have time for anything. Everything is happening fast. But when you are aware, you realize that it's actually happening very slowly. It's all in slow motion. So that from there you can study your dreams, look at them, just experience them. What often happens is a dream is just one image. Like the other night, I felt that spatial, like floating in space kind of stuff. Then I saw a mountain appear in front of me, and it was just one image, just a mountain. And I was looking at it, and I could float towards it. It's amazing, man. So that's the second method. I don't think there's anything else I could say. It's quite simple. The method itself, it's just you need jhana. Now the third method, I'm not going to develop it because I don't practice it a lot and I don't master it really. And it's what's called dream yoga, generally. There are many methods, many traditions of dream yoga, but it's essentially the practice of studying your dreams with meditation. It's just that. But it usually involves Kundalini yoga, energy work, stuff like that. The one that I use is the 6 Yoga of Naropa. It's a Tibetan tradition. So you can look up that stuff and figure it out on your own because I don't have much to say about it. I'm trying it right now, but I don't get much results. I get interesting stuff. It's a good method, but I'm not good enough, I think. And I get good result with jhana, which is extremely simple. So I have no incentive to studying in depth, to study it in depth. So there you have it. That's how you can practice lucid dreaming, and I encourage you to use it for spiritual practice and try to improve your understanding of reality, your understanding of yourself. But also enjoy it. I mean, play like a child, have fun, because it's really amazing. When you can play with your sense of space, just do it like a kid. Like in the Matrix, they invent a dojo, but well, why not do it yourself? Like practice karate in your dreams. Just have fun. There's no reason to take it too seriously. So that's it. As I said, this was suggested by one of you, and you might have noticed that the channel is not super active or anything. My goal with the channel is not to build a channel and post a video every week. I wouldn't know what to talk about if I did, and eventually I'll talk about stuff that doesn't matter. So the channel is really for you. So if you want me to talk about something, don't hesitate to ask, and if I know anything about it, I will talk about it. If I don't know anything, I'll just shut up. no point. So there you go. Until then, love yourself and be good to others. Bye.